welcome to Relish Books. It has been a little minute since I made a video. My husband and I were traveling for a wedding and I didn't read as much as I was hoping to on that trip, but I have now finished The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain. So really quick, I am going to talk about it. It is a very basic, straightforward story, a case of swapping identities, kind of the story that has inspired all kinds of other stories about swapping identities, and the idea of outward circumstances kind of controlling who you're able to be, in a sense. How because of their circumstances, these two individuals are treated royally or horribly mistreated simply because of their circumstance in life. So it was interesting in that sense. The writing is good. The language is good. I didn't love it. It was kind of difficult for me to get through. I wasn't a huge fan of any of the characters, except for I did like Miles Hendon. He kind of came into the story a bit late, but I did enjoy him. I was kind of glad for that extra dimension because I was getting pretty tired of the two main characters just being these two, both of them honestly, very like pretentious little boys. Even though they're supposed to be like good, they're very exalted and kingly in their aspects, both of them. And they can just be kind of like annoying and obviously not anything within the scope of a relatable character, really. So I like that added dimension of this other guy. But yeah, I mean, everyone knows the story of The Prince and the Pauper, I feel like. It was interesting to actually read it. I think from my previous like conceptions of the story, I thought that the time that passes of their identities being swapped was much shorter than it was. I think probably a solid month at least, probably a couple months. If I'd been tracking closer with all the days that pass, I think it's a few months between where their roles are reversed. I always, thinking of the story, I'd always had in my mind that it was only for a few days. So this, months and months going by. It's not really that they get just like a taste of the other's life. They really fully experience it. And it's interesting too because the prince, now the pauper, the king in exile, actually goes through a lot worse stuff than Tom had ever been through. Tom Canty, the actual pauper. He goes through all kinds of near-death terrible adventures. He's in prison multiple times. All kinds of things that the actual pauper boy hadn't gone through. So that was interesting. And then on the other hand, Tom, in the position of prince, gets to really fully experience it. Comes to actually really enjoy it, which is another thing that I didn't know about the story. I thought both of them kind of got a taste of the other's life and then were both like really sick of it pretty quickly. Obviously, that's the case with the prince, but with Tom, he comes to really like being a prince. He comes to really, really love the life to the point where it's a bit of a spoiler, but I'm assuming everybody kind of knows the story, but he comes to love the life to the point where he denounces his own mother for fear that she'll like give him away. And after he does that, then he's kind of sickened by it and realizes that he doesn't want to be royal anymore. But that's something I hadn't really realized about the story, that he, for a while at least, really embraced that role and could have pretty happily gone on to be king and reigned pretty contentedly. But yeah, not really a lot to the story. It's very basic. It was written for children. The writing is kind of fun. There were a couple funny moments, but still the over-the-top Twain style that I'm really not much of a fan of. This was one of his earlier works, I think, so it's toned down a little bit from, like, Connecticut Yankee and Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. So it wasn't as annoying to me in some ways, but still over the top, kind of pretentious and overly trying to be funny and snarky all the time, which is what I don't like about Mark Twain. So, yeah, I've read it. Can't say that I'm that much better for having read it. I already knew the story, so it's just kind of like actually putting in the time to read it. And yeah, I don't really recommend it. It's fine if you want to read it, but nothing really special. Obviously, it's influenced a lot of other stories, other literature. But yeah, nothing too amazing in my opinion. So those are my thoughts on The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully I'll have another video out very soon. I'll see you next time. Bye.